Hello, you guys. So we're going to be beginning unit 3 of IB Business Management Finance, which is personally my favorite unit in all of IB Business Management. I find this a really nice unit, really smooth, really simple. So the introduction is a really short one. It just wants to introduce you to finance in general. The different types of expenditure, and that's it. This video would be really short, but it's just gonna make you understand basically. So for section 3.1, we're going to begin by defining capital expenditure. So capital expenditure is the money spent to acquire fixed assets in a business. So basically, what are fixed assets? Fixed assets are items such as machinery, land, equipment, and vehicles. Okay, so these are basically assets that last more than a year, which is the next point I'm going to be addressing. So fixed assets are needed to generate income for the business over the long run. Okay, so it's true that the business will invest a large amount of money into the the fixed asset. However, this asset in the long run, over time, will basically generate income for the business, which will make up for its cost. Okay, so as long as the income it generates is greater than the cost, then it's a good investment. Okay, so due to their high initial costs, most fixed assets can be used as collateral. So I'm going to be explaining what collateral is. Collateral is basically repayment for a particular source of finance for a business. Okay, so what does that mean? So basically, when a business wants to take out a loan for whatever reason, maybe it needs some money for marketing. It needs to buy a building and it's renting. It needs to, I mean, like it's buying a building, so it needs to lend money. Um, so basically, what does it? It uses fixed assets as collateral, which means that if the building is unable to pay back its loan, then the bank or the financial institution, whoever it's lending, will take the fixed assets instead. Okay, because the fixed assets, they have a high value. Or instead, maybe the business can end up selling its fixed assets and paying back its loan. So this is one of the ways that it can be used as collateral. Hence, fixed assets are long-term investments intended for the business to succeed and grow because, again, the business cannot succeed without machinery, land, equipment, and vehicles. Especially machinery, if it sells products like goods instead of services. Land, it may need somewhere to generate these products, to create them, etc. Hence, okay, so now we finished with capital expenditure. We explained what that is. Revenue expenditure is it's quite different. So it's also expenditure, meaning it's spending, but it's basically money spent in day-to-day running of the business. Such payments and expenses include rent, wages, raw material, fuel, and insurance. So, for example, let's say this business is a restaurant and it delivers food. So it needs fuel for its delivery trucks, for example, for its delivery cars or whatever. Or if it just runs a company and it just needs the rent to pay or wages to pay its employees. So these are stuff that the business pays day to day. So capital expenditure, they're much larger sums, whereas revenue expenditures, they're smaller sums. But for revenue expenditure, the business needs to have a good cash flow in order to have revenue expenditure, which we'll be discussing later throughout the section. Hence, funds for revenue expenditure needs to be available immediately. This is the key word. The business always needs to have cash in hand to keep the business operational and therefore provide instant benefits, unlike capital expenditure, which has to be long-term focused. So remember, capital expenditure is long-term, revenue expenditure is short-term, which is why we use the word immediately right here. Okay, so remember, businesses need to be cautious not to have constantly high revenue expenditure, as it makes it difficult for them to build sufficient capital required for long-term investments. Okay, so basically the point is that yes, they need revenue expenditure for the day-to-day payments, but they shouldn't have excessive revenue expenditure because it doesn't generate anything back. For example, capital expenditure, like we said, it basically is needed for success and growth, right? It's needed for these two things. Revenue expenditure does not provide success and growth. However, it does to a certain extent, but that's not its main point. What it does is it just facilitates the way the business functions and works. So it's completely different. Okay, so that's why we need it to be quick, whereas capital expansion does not have to be quick, but it needs to be happening the whole time, or else the business will stay where it is. It won't achieve growth, and one of the objectives of most businesses is to grow. Okay, so this is it. Because if they're going to have excessive the revenue expenditure, then it's going to, they're going to waste growth. In addition, it makes it difficult for them to get out of a sudden crisis situation because they won't have collateral. So that's it, guys. This is a very, very, very simple lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to be beginning to continue posting. I know I did not finish Unit 2 yet, but this will be coming out soon. So thank you guys so much. Bye bye, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I will be doing a new, what I'm doing in new websites currently in the processes, where I'm going to be tutoring one-on-one and doing crash courses for IB Business Management, as I got a 7 on my IB exams. So I'll be teaching the whole syllabus from Unit 1.1 to Unit 5.9. So if you're interested, the link will be down soon. But for now, I do have a Google Classroom. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye bye.